What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Drop, the weekly show where I let you know the hottest games coming out across the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Switch, the PC, whatever they might be coming out on, we will talk about them right here. This week is a pretty big week. We have Control coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC as our headline game of the week, but Astral Chain, one of the Nintendo Switch's biggest games, is also releasing. We've got a Blair Witch game on top of that and many more games to cover, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this week's top game releases. To kick things off, we have Control coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. After a secretive agent... To kick things off, we have Control coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. After a secretive agency in New York is invaded by an otherworldly threat, you become the new director struggling to regain control. Control is Jessie Faden's story. The main plot focuses on her personal search for answers as she grows into the role of the director. The world of Control has its own story, as do the allies Jessie meets along the way. Side quests and secrets are everywhere. Jessie works with other Bureau agents, decodes cryptic ciphers, and discovers strange Bureau experiments. A world within a location. Explore diverse environments and shifting architecture in a deep, unpredictable world set within a sprawling New York building. Flexible and supernatural combat system. Define your playstyle by integrating supernatural abilities, upgrades, and modifiable loadouts. Reactive environments. Harness dynamic environmental destruction for exciting combat possibilities and master complex rituals to alter your surroundings. Reality meets the unexplainable. Dive into a dark and brutalist-inspired world where daily reality has been corrupted by an otherworldly force. A supernatural 3D person action adventure from the team behind Quantum Break, Remedy Entertainment's Control is coming out this week. With Control, the basic way that somebody explained it to me is that this is basically a government institution that exists to try and explain the unexplainable. It's who you call when things simply don't make sense, and so this game has a very high creative ceiling. You can do a lot within a world that doesn't make sense, and of course many people will say it's set all within one government building, but it's a government building where anything can happen. These supernatural abilities combined with what looks to be a pretty tight control scheme is going to make Control a very high contender for Game of the Year in many regards. Of course, it's got a lot of competition for the fall, but when it comes down to it, Remedy Entertainment very well could have a big hit on their hands, both in tone and gameplay. So if you want to check out Control, it's coming out this week on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. Next up, we have Astral Chain coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Humanity's last chance against an interdimensional invasion is a special living weapon called the Legion. As a rookie officer in the elite police task force Neuron, you and your Legion will work together to solve cases and save humankind. The Astral Chain game gives you full control over two characters at once for thrilling synergetic action, courtesy of PlatinumGames. Alternate between several Legion types and skills to save the world your way. And now some features. Players can control the protagonist and a special weapon called a Legion simultaneously, building stylish combos by using both characters in tandem. There are multiple Legions in the game, each with different combat styles and abilities. Players can even strategically change between Legions at will during real-time battles. This apocalyptic setting is full of intricate details and interesting characters, including citizens and suspects you can interact with in the city, others in the Special Police Task Force, and your twin sibling. Use the abilities of your Legion not only in battle, but also for investigating cases and solving environmental puzzles. Uncover the secrets of the alternate dimension called the Astral Plane, where the mysterious invaders originate. And of course, Astral Chain is directed by, I'm gonna massacre these names, Takahashi Tara, known for his work as game designer on Nier Automata, and supervised by Hideki Kamiya, creator of the Bayonetta series. So Astral Chain, very cool looking Nintendo Switch exclusive. Very disappointed it is a Nintendo Switch exclusive, but I mean, I totally understand it. However, you have minds behind this game that worked on Nier Automata and Bayonetta. That's going to be some pretty good action. And of course, PlatinumGames, famous for their high quality action sequences and action gameplay. But without a doubt, if you want something that's really high octane, if you want something that is very energetic, colorful, that pops on your Nintendo Switch, I would highly recommend giving Astral Chain a look, because this is one of the biggest Nintendo Switch games of the year, and you definitely shouldn't miss it. Next up, we have The Dark Pictures Man of Medan coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. The Dark Pictures Anthology is a series of standalone branching cinematic horror games featuring a multiplayer mode. In Man of Medan, 5 friends set sail on a holiday diving trip that soon changes into something much more sinister. Embark on a horrific journey aboard a ghost ship, experience your terrifying story with a friend online, or go to safety in numbers with up to 5 players offline. All playable characters can live or die. The choices you make will decide their fate. Who will you save? Don't play alone. So this is a very unique idea, the anthology approach, where you have various stories, almost kind of like a Black Mirror or Twilight Zone sounding kind of situation here with the Dark Pictures anthology. But Man of Medan is the first game that I have heard of from this entire series, and I must say, I'm pretty impressed with the look of the game. Of course, this is definitely a budget title when it comes down to it. It's not going to be your full $60 game, but at the same time, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, your mileage may vary, but I guarantee this is going to be a pretty good time with a friend. Of course, recommended you do play with friends. You pretty much need to play with friends to get the most out of this game. But Man of Medan, man, this could be a pretty big one on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC for fans of horror games. But that's not the only horror game coming out this week. I said horror very strangely, because we have Blair Witch coming out on the Xbox One and the PC. It's 1996. A young boy disappears in the Black Hills Forest near Burkittsville, Maryland. As Ellis, a former police officer with a troubled past, you join the search. What starts as an ordinary investigation soon turns into an endless nightmare as you confront your fears and the Blair Witch, a mysterious force that haunts the woods. A story of the human descent into darkness from the creative minds behind the critically acclaimed Layers of Fear. Experience firsthand the toll that fear can take on the mind in an original story inspired by the cinematic lore of the Blair Witch. Find your way through the haunted woods with just your loyal dog Bullet by your side. Navigate your way through a cursed forest that wraps and distorts both time and space. Your sanity against her curse. Stand against the horrors of the Blair Witch with the decaying sanity of a man burdened by his past. And how will you face your fears? As you delve deeper into the woods, how you react to danger and behave under pressure will ultimately teach you more about yourself. A happy story for the Blair Witch. The first point that I want to make is that if you haven't seen the Blair Witch Project, you need to do that. It's one of my favorite movies of all time because I love the found footage films, but hey, take my word with a grain of salt, I also liked Cloverfield. Now that that's out of the way, this game is not going to be anywhere as tense as the Blair Witch Project or the remake that came out a couple of years back, quite frankly, because there is a game below the surface here. You are actively participating with an end goal and a means to get there. So it's not going to be quite your bystander watching the movie found footage feels real kind of situation that we have with the films. It's going to be more of a game, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Of course, Layers of Fear, one of the best horror franchises of the past few years. Not fantastic, but it certainly is not bad, and there are some definitely tense moments there, but this one really snuck up on everybody. I mean, this was revealed a couple of months back. Boom, it's out right now, coming out this week at the last part of August, and I think it's going to be a pretty sleeper hit for the fall season. Of course, as the Halloween season approaches, more and more of these horror games are going to be taking hold, but the Blair Witch very well could carve out a little spot in your heart this week on the Xbox One and the PC. And finally, Wreckfest is coming out on the PS4 and the Xbox One, out now on PC. Break the rules and take full contact racing to the limit with Wreckfest. Expect epic crashes, neck-to-neck fights over the finish line, and brand new ways for metal to bend. These are the once-in-a-lifetime moments that can only be achieved in Wreckfest, with its true-to-life physics simulation crafted by legendary developer Bugbear, who also brought you Flat Out 1 and 2. Burn rubber and shred metal in the ultimate driving playground. Awesome cars, old banged-up patched-together cars that simply ooze style. From old American heavy hitters to agile Europeans and fun Asians, you won't find anything like this in other games. Dive into Wreckfest and play with some fun Asians. Meaningful customization, change not only the look of your cars, but also upgrade their body armor. Multiplayer, wreck your friends online and take racing to the limit while chasing for demolition dominance. Challenge modes, have hilarious fun with crop harvesters, lawnmowers, school buses, three-wheelers, and much, much more. So as you have kind of caught on, the idea behind Wreckfest is to simply wreck your car. Of course, I was a big fan of the original Flat Out games, specifically 1 and 2, and also Head On that came out on the PSP. That was a good time as well. But again, this is something for the adrenaline junkie. This is something for the Demolition Derby fan. You should definitely check this one out if you like realistic physics, because whenever you run at 80 miles an hour into a wall, the car reacts like you just rammed into a wall at 80 miles per hour. It really is something that is impressive. And on the PC version of the game, mind-boggling to see this stuff at work. But if you do like that kind of aesthetic, if you do like seeing things absolutely crumple, if you like seeing giant flaming piles of metal that used to be vehicles, you should check out Wreckfest, out this week on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and of course out now on the PC. To round out today's show, we have some honorable mentions. First off, Hunt Showdown is coming out on the Xbox One and the PC. The Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut is coming out on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC as well. And finally, MXGP 2019, a pretty good looking motocross game. I must admit, I was very impressed with the gameplay that I watched. Is coming out on, you guessed it, the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. That rounds out this week's episode of The Drop. If you enjoyed this one, drop me a like down below, and of course, in the comments section, let me know what games caught your eye. But if you happen to be brand new to the show, be sure to check out the other content. I have a podcast that I host 5 days a week. This show is hosted every single Sunday, and you never know what else might come. But until the next one, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I will talk to you soon, and peace.